At first glance, realism and idealism seem like opposing worldviews. One grounded in acceptance and the other uplifted by hope. Hmm? The idealist believes in what could be, and they are often guided by vision, they are guided by faith, and moral optimism. While the realist, on the other hand, as I had said in the previous video, they see what is. For them, they are grounded in observation, they are grounded in evidence, and emotional restraint. Very important. Mm. Both have their place in human progress. But when it comes to inner peace and sustainable clarity, then realism often provides a stronger foundation. Where idealism creates perpetual striving, realism nurtures acceptance. And it is in acceptance that peace begins. The idealist views the world through possibility. For them, they believe in inherent goodness. They believe in justice eventually prevailing. They believe in human nature's capacity for transformation. This worldview can inspire art. It can inspire innovation and social change. Because it dreams of better tomorrows. Yet the same lens that fuels inspiration can also fuel disappointment. When the world fails to meet their expectations, that is when love isn't pure, when people betray you, or even when systems remain corrupt, then the idealist feels betrayed by life itself. Now, the realist, however, again, as I had said in the previous video, they approach life as a dynamic equilibrium of good and bad, chaos and order, love and loss. They don't expect fairness. They don't expect perfection or even constant happiness. They expect complexity. To them, human beings are both compassionate and cruel. Progress is both beautiful and destructive. To them, peace is not a constant state, but a moment-by-moment practice. Now, because of this grounded understanding, the realist rarely suffers from shattered expectations. Because they adjust, they adapt, and they move forward. The key difference lies in attachment. Idealists attach to outcomes. They cling to how life should be, while realists align with reality. They respond to how life is. This detachment does not mean cynicism. I repeat, it means clarity. A realist can still dream, but they dream with their eyes open. They hope, but not at the expense of seeing. Psychologically, idealism satisfies emotional desires. That is the need to believe in goodness, the need to believe in hope and ultimate justice. However, when confronted with harsh truths, then the idealist mind often spirals into frustration, into guilt, or even despair, interpreting imperfection as failure. The realist mind builds emotional resilience. By anticipating imperfection, it does not collapse when faced with it. This doesn't mean that the realist is unfeeling or doesn't have emotions. It means they process emotions through acceptance rather than resistance. Acceptance creates stability. The nervous system relaxes when the mind stops fighting reality. Hence, realism, far from being pessimistic, is actually a form of mental and emotional maturity. Spiritually, Idealism looks upward. That is towards transcendence, towards purity, and even divine perfection. Hmm? While realism looks inward, towards balance, towards wholeness, and harmony within imperfection. Both paths seek peace, but the realist finds it in coexistence with the flawed. The realist embody a truth that is echoed in many ancient teachings about enlightenment. Enlightenment is not escaping the world's darkness, but seeing through it without losing your center. The realist trust that everything, whether it is beautiful, ugly, brutal, chaos, they serve evolution. And this trust dissolves resistance and fear, allowing peace to flow naturally. In short, idealism imagines peace, while realism lives it. The idealist reaches for perfection and often finds frustrations, while the realist embraces imperfection and discovers calm. Realism, therefore, is not coldness. It is emotional intelligence refined into wisdom. It teaches that when you stop demanding life to be better than it is, then you begin to engage. You begin to engage it more honestly. You begin to engage it more compassionately, and more peacefully. My people, heal, heal.